What time? I make it about half past the AI craze, don't you? But here's one of those. Yeah, but apart from that, moments, because I want to show you some AI, but it's genuinely useful for you and me as writers, and we haven't been able to do this before. Right now, your iPhone can help you find books, research buildings around you, and now also research anything you see on screen. Plus, it can identify items. It could tell you which mouse this is and where to buy it if you wanted to. I mean, I've used it to tell me that I can't afford the table lamps in Russian. They were really nice. And actually, while I was there, I just used it to identify the peculiar coffee combination somebody was drinking. It was really impressive. It worked it out. And also, I both successfully and totally unsuccessfully used it to add theatre events to my calendar. All by pointing an iPhone in the right direction. This is visual intelligence on the iPhone. And if you already know it, and you know that there's several different ways to get it working on your iPhone, well then I've got nothing for you. But otherwise, hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who write on Macs and iPads, and today particularly iPhone for writers. Do please subscribe, like, or patronise me, because we have so much to talk about. Well, I say that it's one thing. It's this visual intelligence, but there's quite a bit to it, and actually that quite a bit has also been improving. But I don't want to waste your time or tantalise you here, though. So let me start off by saying first that in order for this to work, you need any iPhone 17, including the iPhone Air, any iPhone 16, including the iPhone 16e, an iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 15 Pro Max. Sorry, in my head I've just said all of that. I mean one of them. I know you know that, but okay. There are actually differences between these models that are significant, but we'll get to that after showing you why you should care. After I show you why I think, as writers, visual intelligence is worth bothering with. Why it's a big, and I genuinely think, a really impressive deal for us. Starting first with that mouse example. Right, now I do actually know what this mouse is. I don't know what I was doing with it down there, but let's pretend I have no idea. What is this? Point the iPhone camera at it, open visual intelligence, tap the search button, and there you go. And you can, of course, tap through any of those images to go buy the mouse if you really want to. It's a very good mouse. I'm more a trackpad guy. Well, let's say you're out somewhere. Writers are allowed to leave the desk from time to time, if we've been good. And when we are away from this, when we are out there and we see something interesting, some building, some curious architecture on a church, you know where this is going. I have also seen that it's true what Apple has claimed. If that building was a restaurant, say, visual intelligence can show you its opening times, maybe its menu. I think it depends what the restaurant is set up where. But actually, speaking of restaurants and things, as well as eating properly, we should also drink more. So this was yesterday in a Tim Hortons. That water bottle cost me £2.25. And I was wondering about that price. I really was. So I just looked at it with visual intelligence. Tap search. Got a list of places I could buy it from. I am actually also, seriously, I am tracking how much water I do. I'm trying to hit 3 litres a day. Apparently that's what I need. And, well, of course, I could have just, picked up the bottle, found the amount somewhere on it. But I figured, what the hell? Pointed visual intelligence at it, and visual intelligence says that bottle is 600 millilitres, and I can tell you that's correct. But I was still a bit curious about the price. Not that it was on my mind or anything, but I asked directly, and okay, given the retail price, let's find out, what does Tim Hortons sell it for in general? Let's see if I'm in an overpriced Tim Hortons, for instance. I'm really saying Tim Hortons a lot today. Okay, I'm slightly under the top. Still a lot for water, but all right. Speaking of expensive, follow this through. Visual intelligence had a bit of a fit when I first tried it in my new iPad Magic Keyboard, but then I think I tried it again and it figured it'd be nice, he's already paid for it, so it showed me something different. Plus, don't pretend this is just me. You've often wondered which Apple Watch is on your own wrist. I know you have, or all right, maybe more usefully, you've wondered which watch face someone is using. I lose track of mine. I never remember the names. Anyway, all of which tells me time is ticking on. So next thing, events. Whether you go to them or you're passing the poster, visual intelligence is great. Last night I went to see Suzanne Vega in concert, for example, and I was able to point my iPhone at the poster and do this. Automatically, if not really very, very quickly, visual intelligence can add that event to my calendar. And you don't have to keep pointing the phone at the poster while it does its doing so. Once it's started to work on the image, you can walk away with your phone. Plus, there's that white take a photo like button right in the middle. Tap that and you do take the shot, and you can put away your iPhone, and then the next time you get out your phone and open visual intelligence, that image will be waiting for you there, exactly where it was. I don't see a way in this to take a series of shots like this and ask about all of them later, but there is now a way to. There's something similar you can do. Something similar, actually two things to show you here at the same time, like a good and a bad. Just like with the Suzanne Vega concert, here is a poster for a theatre show. It's actually for the Birmingham Reps 2025 Christmas production. Ignore for a second the slightly different way this looks on screen, just a slightly different way it's done. And instead, now it's here, focus on that add to calendar button. So it's exactly the same, add to calendar. And it worked, except this production is on, I can tell you, from November 14, 2025 to January 18, 2026. And yes, it added the show to my calendar every single day. Like I'm going to go see it 66 times. No, wait, there must be matinees. I can never work it out. A lot. Yeah, no. But anyway, go back to how this one was slightly different, I said, how it was done and how the process lets us do this thing of taking multiple photographs. How it's different to the Suzanne Vega, for example. That's what I'm trying to say. This Birmingham Rep show, right, that was done from an online poster. Suzanne Vega was done from one actually outside a theatre in the real world. This being able to use online images is the latest addition to visual intelligence, and it's really the reason that this has become particularly useful for you and me as writers. I mean, I think right away it was useful, right away it was fun, now it's particularly hot. Because visual intelligence now works with anything on your iPhone screen. You just have to get it on the screen and then you take a screen grab. You saw me doing that. Taking a screen grab, if you don't happen to do it often, is pressing the sleep wake button on the right at the same time as the volume up button on the left on your iPhone. So, like that. If you do this, well, you get various screenshot tools and options, things, but also the familiar now ask and search buttons. And then right there in the middle, there's that add to calendar button if visual intelligence cops onto the fact that there is a date somewhere on that image. I have also seen it offer a translate button instead, and there's a couple of other options, which, I mean, it's great. What you need, hopefully, is there. But anyway, with this image on your screen, you can do all of the same searching for details or asking for information. So in this case, you could just take many photos or screen grabs, save them all up, and then sit down with a cup of tea and run visual intelligence across the lot of them. It's a little clunky though, because actually there isn't a way to open up your photos library and say, that one please, or those there, do your doings on all of those. Instead, what you have to do is bring it back up onto the screen. There it is, nice. Take another screen grab, a screen grab of a screen grab potentially. And all right, it works. And then, yeah, this is still AI we're talking about, so it can still be irritating, whatever you have to do. But look at this. Whether I am looking at the real manuscript in person or as here, an image of it, I can ask Visual Intelligence to tell me about this. I mean, just asking questions like such as, what is it? And then asking further questions, more details. Is Beowulf the one with the helicopter? Bless ChatGPT, it does try when it isn't trying. So with your iPhone now, you can research documents in front of you. You can identify people, or try to. Find out restaurant opening times, get the history of a building, figure out if you're being overcharged for water. You could go buy a mouse. Where did I put that? And you can add events to your calendar. All that's left is how you do it when it isn't a screen grab, and also how you do it on the different iPhones that it works on. And from the moment I said ChatGPT just a moment then, you had concerns. Let's deal with the concerns first. The usually important and fully truthful, accurate issue of ChatGPT and privacy. Just as you know, if you ever go directly to ChatGPT and ask it anything, it ferrets away your question for its training purposes, and it tries to grab as much detail about you as it can. What browser you're using, roughly your IP address, your location, if it can possibly figure out anything, and beyond me what it tries to grab. But Visual Intelligence is part of Apple Intelligence, and Apple has a deal. Use ChatGPT through any part of Apple Intelligence and you're fine, basically. So the hesitation there, but you're fine. Visual Intelligence, Siri, shortcuts, any Apple route that ends up with you going to ChatGPT is safe. By the terms of the deal, it said, ChatGPT cannot train itself on your question. It can't store your question. It must lose it as soon as it's answered. It can't interrogate your device for every bit of personal data it normally would try for. And okay, I know what I'm saying is trust Apple, but there actually is as much reason to trust Apple as there is certain sureness that you cannot trust ChatGPT. And it's this. If Microsoft, say, leaked your shopping list to an advertiser, well, Microsoft would call it a feature, really, but the thing is that the world would just kind of shrug. If Apple did it, there is no limit to how fast and how furious the total backlash would be. Apple stakes a lot on its claims of privacy, and reportedly this is one case where it would be easy for third parties to discover if they blew it. Okay, I'm sure there's much more to say on this topic, but for us, for here, for now, I don't care about ChatGPT when it goes through Visual Intelligence. I think it's been tamed by Apple. So there's just how you do it now, how you use Visual Intelligence. I mean, how you start it running, what buttons do you press? That's what I'm groping towards. Because this is a thing, and it's a thing because originally it required a button that not all iPhones have, even ones that in theory could run this stuff. That has now been improved, but it's been improved by giving us 5 different ways to start Visual Intelligence. 5 of them. There's no chance that's confusing at all. If you're not forced down any of the routes because of what iPhone you happen to have, still, I think actually you might just prefer one of the alternatives. To start Visual Intelligence on your iPhone, and you have an iPhone that will run, one of the models already listed, so let's be clear, iPhone 15 Pro, iPhone 15 Pro Max, any iPhone 16, any iPhone 17, iPhone 16e, iPhone Air, all of them, and into the future, you can press and hold the camera control on your iPhone if it has one, add Visual Intelligence to Control Center so that it's just a swipe down and a tap. Add Visual Intelligence to the Action button on the side of your iPhone. Put a virtual button, whatever, on your iPhone lock screen for it, or use it in a shortcut. The iPhone 16e, iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max do not have a camera control button. So if you own one of those, well, you're out of that one. Good luck. Use one of the rest. But even actually when there is a camera control button, it's a pretty overworked button, isn't it? I mean, okay, you press it once to open the camera, press it hard to launch Visual Intelligence, or if you get distracted, you end up pressing it twice, and now you've opened the camera and also you've started adjusting the exposure or something. Yeah, I don't know. I do still mostly use it through the camera control, but I think that's just kind of habit by now. And this bothered me a little bit actually. In checking for you to tell you how else you can use it if you didn't happen to know, I realised, well, it takes a little setting up, okay, but also that I had already done it. I have already set up every possibility, and I still keep using the camera control button. Control Center version. On any iPhone, swipe down to get these controls, and then press and hold on a blank spot. Tap Add Control. And then I'm going to recommend that you search for Visual Intelligence rather than scroll through it. Search for Visual Intelligence rather than scrolling through 11 billion other options. And is that the most obvious recommendation I've ever made? Certainly top 10. 5. Maybe you want to drag that button to a different spot, in which case, knock yourself out. Or maybe you have to get rid of an existing one to make room for it. Welcome to fiddling with Control Center, okay? But once you've done it, okay, once you've got it in a place there somewhere, using Visual Intelligence means just picking up your phone, unlocking it, and then swipe, tap, and away off you go. Only you don't have to unlock your iPhone. You can instead have this button on it. A direct button, a direct route to Visual Intelligence right there in your face as you pick up your phone. To add this button, pick up your iPhone, tap it to wake it up, and then press and hold on that lock screen. When this happens, when the screen kind of moves backwards a touch and you get some other controls and options, and one of those controls and options will be Customize. Tap on that. Now here, I've got it at the bottom. I'm going to add it again there. I'm adding Visual Intelligence to the bottom right slot. There are these two slots, left and right, at the bottom, plus there's like a row underneath the clock. Pick wherever you like. The process is the same. What you do is you tap on the bits you want, and then from the list that you should probably also, again, search through rather than scroll, you find, there it is, Visual Intelligence. Tap to choose that, and now that's in the button. Now you're done, really. You're done if this is actually specifically where you want it, the bottom corner. If there's something else already there or in the top row, we may have to tap the minus sign to remove it first and all that sort of stuff. And if it is the top row that you're looking for, the bar underneath the clock, well, there's actually room there for a few of them. Up to 4 depending on the size of them, and you can add and delete but also drag to rearrange them should you wish to. But anyway, when you've finished with all that dragging and fiddling, tap done. You go back to this slightly recessed home screen, tap on that, and everything's sorted. I like that one. I like that lock screen one a lot. I don't know why I keep forgetting that I've got Visual Intelligence right there on the lock screen, but I do. And then I also have it in another place twice. All of the iPhones that can run Visual Intelligence also have an action button at the top left. It replaced the mute button some years ago, which is another topic. And instead, this action button is a programmable button. You can tell it what you want it to do when you press it. And well, there's a lot of options to it, really, a lot of choice. Apple has tried to simplify it, I think. That's the word for it. Open Settings on your iPhone, scroll down to Action button, and then scroll left and right through a oddly over graphical list of settings. I mean, it's fine. It's very nice. All the animation's great, but no other setting anywhere in the iPhone works remotely like this. So you do just wonder if Apple had an over-eager intern in one Friday afternoon. But anyway, swipe around until you land on Visual Intelligence, and then come out to the settings, just get rid of settings, and all done. That button is now Visual Intelligence. The button at the top left on your iPhone is, well, it's Visual Intelligence. It's only Visual Intelligence. So you could stop there, but this action button, it's supposed to be this great feature that lets you do anything you want, and we've just limited it to one thing. So instead of setting it to be visual intelligence, you can set it to run a shortcut instead. Now you have to write the shortcut. You have to make that shortcut. But if you can be bothered to do that, this is the potential result. If I press my action button, I get this list of a few functions that I use quite a bit, and right there is visual intelligence. And I never remember it's there. What is the matter with me? 5 ways to do this same thing, and I still don't use it enough. I don't use any of them enough because I forget that it exists at all. Truly, actually, telling you about it is kind of put it back in my noggin. I'm going to be using this constantly instead of just when I think, oh, that'd be, yeah. Although, actually, one last story. Yeah. During some early beta stage of visual intelligence, quite a while ago now, more than a year ago, I did use this when walking around a garden centre with my wife. I was pretending to know as much as she does about plants and flowers. Oh, stop looking at me like that. I would say, oh, that's a very nice example of Gardenia flowery fly tarantula. Once actually I managed to get visual intelligence to ID the pot the plant was in, and every other time, only because it was a beta, it was still in early testing this, it was telling me the American terms for plants. My wife was not impressed with that at all. Who knew that America has different names for plants than the UK does? Who comes up with these things? I'm thinking tomato and tomato, but that's not the right thing. I believe actually the right thing is anyway. Anyway, that's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Do remember, please, 58 Keys writing workshop videos that come out every Monday, and the 58 Keys script club, like a book club, but for screenplays, on Fridays. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself, and write more. Plus, I'll see you soon.